What on earth is going on in the twilight zone of hip-hop and love, everyone? Because, sweetie, Mendeecees calls Harris as soon as she notices criticized Kirk Frost for having a serious obsession with him. We've officially transitioned into reality TV, you know. Lunacy. Now stop. What grown married man would have a full Rashida? Have you had time at home to supposedly be snooping around in other people's affairs all the time? Is Kirk attempting to steal his place? Or is he taking notes? Because Mendy recently dropped a devious little bombshell that has the entire Frost home being side-eyed by fans, bloggers, and even Annie's church group. Is this only petty? Or is there any covert animosity, backdoor rivalry, and envy occurring at the industrial level? Behind the scenes? Given that Kirk appears to be VH1's personal FBI agent, why is he supposedly monitoring Mendy? More significantly, what precisely is he so fixated on? Remain with us because what begins as a little romantic relationship and hip-hop feud and develops into a complex web of eavesdropping, private conversations, leaked texts, and a heated phone dispute that will make your mind race. Hold on tight. Family, the kettle is screaming and this tea is boiling over. Shall we now go into the core of the madness? Here's the deal then. Mendy observes that Harris isn't often the kind to get involved in drama on reality shows or in social media feuds merely for the attention. No, he's that awesome. After his time in prison, hip-hop attempted to portray the stay-in-his-lane family guy as a figure of redemption. When he returned, he made an effort to concentrate on his business endeavors, lectures, and panel discussions on personal development and being a better man. You know, I've transformed. I now practice yoga and have a new brand. However, it appears that Kirk Frost did not get the note telling people to keep their distance from him because of some really intriguing rumors and a recent public statement that has the internet on fire. Mendy accuses Kirk outright of being enamored with him, uninterested, and bothersome. We're having a serious conversation about why you're observing everything I do as if I were your baby and ex. The perfect time. This was hardly an unexpected development. Not at all. When Mendeecees made an unexpected cameo appearance during the filming of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta Season 13, it all began to simmer. Designed to be humorous, show the guys some love and consider proposing a business partnership. Rather, the individual entered a monitoring system while donning Kirk Frost's face. According to sources, "Yo, is Mendy seeing on this episode? What's he talking about?" Kirk asked the producers. "Who is he hanging out with? What is he promoting? Are you all right, sir?" The actors first dismissed it with a chuckle, saying, "Hey, Kirk is being nosy again. You know how that man always got." It became strange after a while, with one eye on his wife and the other on everyone else's wallets. Too strange. "Yes, we did get those," a production close insider said Kirk. It's true that they supposedly asked for modified video of the scenes Mendy was in. Who knew why he asked for Raphael's? Perhaps he was attempting to read body language as if it were a reality check. TV forensic scientist. Perhaps he believed Mendeecees made a subtle jab at Rashida. Alternatively, Kirk may have been attempting to understand how Mendy manages to remain booked, relevant, and scandal-free. This is when things get jumbled, but the shade writes itself. According to an unnamed crew worker, Kirk was heard grumbling to one of the show's producers. "I don't see how y'all as if he were a legend. You constantly bringing him up here. Apart from returning home from prison, what has he actually done? Enhance your beard? Phew, that's pressed, not just petty." Real people are aware that Kirk Frost has a history of being clumsy. He is the same person who had the same Kirk, who had a full-fledged child outside of marriage while attempting to handle his wife's music career, like he was Clive Davis instructed Rashida to get a paternity test, as if she had just discovered the child in a Walmart sale section, but accused Mendy of being unimportant. Take a few foldable seats, sir. And when the word got out that Kirk was then, the floodgates opened with low-key pocket-watching, friend-hopping, and potentially even an attempt to thwart Mendy's prospective Laudel spin-off contract. Mendy decided to shatter the quiet in a since-deleted Instagram post because she was fed up with the passive-aggressive vibe. It's always the ones with nothing to say to your face, but everything to say behind the scenes, he stated in his story. It is a disease to be obsessed. Ask for assistance. Suddenly, the internet went crazy. Immediately, Twitter went crazy, YouTube went wild, and bloggers took screenshots. While commenters were almost halfway through their thumbnails, Kirk remained silent and just reposted, encouraging sayings on Instagram such as, "Please, boy, let God fight your battles." But hold on, we're not done yet. Another cast member, who will not be named, but you are aware of who we are referring to, came forth with even more steaming hot tea. Kirk allegedly questioned the cast at a private pre-production dinner. Why? Mendy. After years away from the main cast, Cease was receiving executive guest appearance rates. Now pause. That individual is aware of the specifics of your contract. It's not just curiosity, complete infatuation. And you know what's worse? According to sources, Kirk attempted to include Rashida as well, warning her of Yandee's recent intimate relationship with production. Let's be honest. If Yandee is some Machiavellian villain planning to steal their spa and replace Frost Bistro with Harris Grill, actually, what is Kirk so terrified of? Is it Mendy's observation of his becoming impact? His ability to secure a new program? The reality that VH1 now recognizes? Perhaps Mendy believes that family brands are safer than Mr. Frosted's own suggestions. Perhaps Kirk's preoccupation has deeper roots, and this isn't even about what Mendy sees, something that raises eyebrows even among his own cast members. Because here's the issue, Kirk has been losing control of his story, which no one is discussing. For years, Kirk Frost was the focal point of Elle's controversies. He was the tumult. The focus is now changing, but he was the person we loved to detest. The drama is being carried by the newer cast members, Bambi, Spice, and Sierra, while the veterans are either changing their image or disappearing into background furnishings. Doso, when a rebranded Mendy enters the room looking tidy, polished, grown up, and all of a sudden he's receiving favorable fan feedback and network attention. Kirk's former reality villain. He doesn't like it when his crown rusts, so let's call it insecurity, disguised as infatuation. Fans' comparisons of the two didn't help either. One person posted on Twitter, Kirk Frost is spying on Mendy's eyes, as if he were attempting to do a Netflix doc. Go ahead and think, Sir Rashida. Another person said, Kirk is in his feelings and Mendeecees glowed up. Without comparison, it is impossible to compete. Cruel, but right when you think it's at its worst. Oh no, the rabbit hole gets deeper. Because emails purportedly sent by a VH1 producer during season 13 planning have been leaked. Internal complaints about a certain crossover episode. You know who made the complaint? Bringing Mendeecees onto the ATL version could confuse audience. Loyalty, wrote Kirk Frost, according to the leak. Combining properties doesn't necessarily improve the plot of our program, which has its own individuality. Well, in other words, I don't want him on my program. However, you see, this is now more than just envy. The focus today is on relevance, legacy, and ego. If we know anything about individuals like Kirk, it would have been terrible enough to sense that control eroding, but instead of merely spiraling, they sabotage. However, as we resume in part 2, the focus changes from small-scale sniping to extensive research because, baby, somebody VH1 apparently obtained security tape from an off-camera trailer inside, showing Kirk meeting a hip-hop and love producer, and what they discovered. To put it mildly, obsession might be the best term to use. Now, let's get to the juicy part. This is the point at which the entire fixation claim takes a sharp left turn, heading into the realm of the absurd, the dubious, and the outright scandalous. Chili's receipts began to soar, despite some people dismissing Mendy's remarks as mere love and hip-hop level drama. Did the claims? Mendy's close friends confirm that these are the people who have supposedly been part of the inner group for years, are claiming that this isn't just a fictitious feud. Kirk Frost has been appearing in locations that raised more than a few eyebrows. Hey, Kirk is attending parties to which he hasn't been invited simply to observe what Mendy observes. For example, he was stationed next to the green room, standing there and not even speaking to anyone. Spying game. Now pay attention. What else is supplying stalker energy if that isn't? If you've watched Love and Hip Hop long enough, you already know that Kirk's past isn't exactly spotless, so let's not pretend that this behavior is new. This is the same man that supposedly got a side woman pregnant, lied to Rashida, had a complete hidden apartment, and then attempted to deceive everyone into thinking he was the victim. Baby, a 3-part documentary would be required to cover all of Kirk's trash. But returning to this disaster, once Mendeecees' comment went viral, people began doing this. Monique narrated a Netflix special. Digging is what they do best, and you'll be holding your pearls after what they found, honey. Throwback Thursday. It seems that Kirk has been enjoying vintage pictures of males from the past. Selfies, photos taken behind the scenes during jail visits, and even images from Jan Dandy Smith's anniversary tributes. And that's not it. A devoted fan created a whole thread on Twitter that showcased Kirk's social media stomps, media activities. Interestingly, each time Mendy posts a life update, the likes, views, and occasionally the comments contain Kirk's name. One admirer said, "This dude watches Mendy. He seems to be the Power season finale. Let's also discuss the now famous burner account issue." Someone on Mendy's staff apparently alerted him to the fact that a phony Instagram account was tagging him in arbitrary photos and stories. Just strange things like the true king's silent move or some of you straining too hard to be him. Nothing too wild. Not with him. Unsettling, huh? Well, one unnamed source claims that burner account was linked to an IP address that was registered under Yep, Kirk Frost's name. Kirk, of course, denied it. Informed everyone attempted to dismiss it as a coincidence. But fans weren't buying it. This man has a wife, a business, and a reality show, and he still has time to stalk Mendeecees anonymously, one remark said. Seek assistance. What about the purported voicemail leak? Lord have mercy. Kindness. Apparently, someone released a portion of a voicemail purportedly from Kirk's phone, where he has been overheard discussing how some people are just fortunate, how they were given a plot, and men behave as like they are. The King of Harlem when they're actually just a convict from a reality program? That be directed not only at Mendeecees, but at everyone in the fandom? Choosing sides. Charker, Mendeecees ain't checking for you. Trending Kirkn.ob fixated on the incorrect one. Other reality stars began to join in. Their disagreements. Safri said in a blog post, "I'm not sure what's going on." Tokyo Vanity tweeted, "If you guys don't quit being messy and go, raise your kids, but this feud is hilarious." It gets worse though, since Kirk was allegedly monitoring Mendy's every move and acting suspiciously behind closed doors. Rumor has it that Kirk presented an entire narrative regarding mentor versus mentee during a confidential production meeting for the next season of Love and Hip Hop. Hip-hop tension and how some guys fabricate their background to appear a little cold. The indirects were substantial. Mendy observes that he played it largely cool. He just chuckled when questioned about the ongoing problem on a podcast, saying, "Dude, I have a wife, kids, and many enterprises, so I don't have time for all that. That Loki shadow is as sharp as a dagger, but anyone who is worried about me must be really bored. And let's not pretend that this is a simple personal feud between two people, since the truth is, this drama raises a larger issue that no one really wants to discuss aloud since it is more complicated, dark, and messy. What type of man, everyone is wondering, puts this much effort into another man's life?" Some fans are beginning to hypothesize that this has nothing to do with rivalry or envy. Some others are speculating that Kirk could recognize something in Mendy that reminds him of the kind of person he aspired to be, a respectful, bad boy, and family guy. A street leader became legitimate through redemption because, let's face it, how many times was Kirk in the spotlight for something other than being hounded on Twitter or cheating on Rashida? In relation to Rashida, where is she amid all of this, baby? Rumor has it that Rashida is no longer with us. According to an acquaintance who informed a gossip blog, Rashida allegedly said to Kirk, "If you looked at our finances half as much as you do on that man's Instagram, we'd be billionaires by now." Even Jan Dandy had to intervene, hehe. She responded to the claims on Instagram Live, stating, "I don't know why people are so pressed about my husband. We're doing all okay. We don't care. And what mature guy would spend this much in another grown man? Prayer, not attention, is what man needs." She isn't lying. But this only made it more. Kirk responded to the fire with a mysterious post. "Only idiots think everything they hear. I have more pressing matters to attend to yet." So at this point, we've got a question. Did anybody ask him to say anything? Because it only made people talk even more. A weird social media trail, a purported burner account, voicemails that were leaked, dubious production pitches, and a man who could or might not be feeling a great deal of jealousy. The funny thing is that this story isn't even over yet, since what comes next will take this entire thing to a level that even we weren't prepared for. And just when you thought it could go much crazier, the cast and crew with tea that will make you pause. So pay close attention, because in part 3, we're analyzing the consequences, the legal risks, and the time Rashida had to confront her partner and ask him directly, what's the reason for your obsession with him? Remember, the drama is only getting warmed up. This isn't the finish. And just when you thought that this feud couldn't get much worse, darling, get your sage and give your therapist a call, because, to be clear, this issue has now been elevated from reality TV drama to full-fledged psychological warfare. Following a flurry of rumors, dodgy social media posts, and anonymous direct messages, Mendy is now adamantly stating that Kirk Frost is completely enamored with him, and not only because of some competitiveness. We're observing his every action, imitating his commercial endeavors, unintentionally attending the same events, and even like postings about Mendy's coincidence? According to people familiar with the matter, AA is that one relative who always... We're talking about screenshots, timestamps, and receipts, not just ambiguous text messages. Voicemails from individuals claiming Kirk has been inquiring about his personal life, including who he is doing business with, how much he gets paid, and even how he co-parents his children. At this time, many are referring to Kirk as Inspector Frost on the internet, since it seems Rashida should be the first person in his Google search history, yet he's out here spying more than a TMZ field agent during award season. Fans are not accepting it since it's Mendeecees, and let's not overlook the viral Kirk Frost's attempt to change into Mendy seems to be unlocking a new love and hip-hop persona, according to a tweet that went viral Friday night. The internet is unbeaten, you know, but this is when things start to go very dark. An insider who formerly worked for one of Kirk's side projects in development claims that there is a file. Yes, a literal internal notes on branding, agreements, talking points, and dates that eerily like the M and Playbook folder on Kirk's work laptop. Is this appreciation or outright copying of Mendy's professional maneuvers during the last 3 years? No, Mendeecees isn't exactly innocent either, and Kirk isn't smooth. Remember the interview where he stated, "It's weird when grown men keep my name?" We won't pretend he hasn't thrown a little shade of his own, more than their own spouses in their mouths. That wasn't a subliminal chili. Kirk, rather than retreating and answering the verbal left hook with glitter on it, what does he do, according to the accusations, like a responsible adult? He goes live on Instagram 3 times. Additionally, it becomes messier every time. In the first live, he claims that Mendy's appearance is unimportant. And second live, he says people are attempting to disparage his brand because they are envious and that no one is looking for him. Third live, he inadvertently broadcasts a voicemail, in which someone is discussing a chat. The comment sections were ablaze, with Yan Dandy seemingly trying to incite conflict between Mendy and his wife. "Please, sir." People said, "Why are you addressing him at M with a ring light and edge control on your sideburns if he is irrelevant?" And they're right. This is when the real story twist begins. It seems that VH1 producers have learned about this conflict, and there are rumors that their love and hip-hop addiction intending to make it a full-fledged spin-off. With baby mamas, Bentleys, and bad contracts, Thank You meets Catfish. The plot revolves on Kirk's attempt to restore his reputation while covertly attempting to undermine Mendy's upcoming company launch. In the meanwhile, Mendeecees is purportedly who is being blacked out in every frame while he films his own documentary exposing business clout chasers. Mr. Frost himself, you guessed it. And admirers, Twitter conversations are replete with file-level analyses of timestamps, fashion decisions, and mutual followers. It seems like someone is resolving a crime scene as they establish boundaries between Instagram stories and backdrop decor. Let's face it, this is no longer simply a coincidence. One post even said that both guys wore the same exact fragrance to a press event last year. This is an identity issue, not petty drama. People are now wondering if Kirk has been attempting to change who he is, around on the backs of any guy who has more influence, charm, and a spotless record than his own. And if Mendy sees if this preoccupation is genuine and correct, then what we're seeing isn't only drama, it's a full career based on. In addition to copy-paste culture, people in the hip-hop world are beginning to take sides. Some influencers are unfollowing, and some rappers are subtweeting. This level of obsession is either envy, admiration, or unresolved. Even a well-known reality TV therapist commented on TikTok. Childhood trauma. You are all aware of what that implies. Sessions of therapy might be next for ratings on camera. Rashida has been sharing photographs with comments that read, "Unbothered queen," but admirers, I don't believe it. "Blink twice if you need help," one user commented. Because no matter how calm she appears, when Kirk gets into a mess, everyone can see it, and Rashida finally has to clean it up. Speaking of cleanups, there are rumors that Mendeecees' legal team is now engaged. Rumor has it that not due to defamation, but rather because Kirk reportedly attempted to contact Mendeecees' business partners under false pretenses. Stop and desist letters are being prepared. As a possible financier. Please pardon me if that proves to be accurate. This is not longer amusing. Fans are calling for an end to that kind of subtle harassment, boundary breaching, and manipulation. Responsibility. Let's be honest, though. You are all aware of how this tale is unfolding. To finish, this drama will either be packaged as a multi-EP program to increase viewership on VH1, or Kirk and Mendeecees are. Because that's the game, you're going to be seen hugging it out on the Kai. Red carpet next year as if nothing happened. Make the mess and make money off of it. Pandemonium, and create suspense for the spectator. One thing is certain, though. This narrative is about more than simply obsession. Identity, rivalry, ego, and the extent men will go to in order to remain relevant as the limelight begins to fade are all at play here. You now have the upper hand at Kirk. Either you acknowledge that you have been observing Mendeecees appears to be a popular topic, or you may continue to expose him with more dubious activities and evasive statements. In any case, the fixation has been revealed, and Mendeecees realizes that he is not playing or concealing. Additionally, if his obsession is loud, so if the next move is anything like the last one, you can bet that the whole business will sense it soon. However, retaliation is calculated and will come. Folks, there you have it. You thought that hip-hop and love couldn't get much dirtier. Mendeecees spots Kirk and Harris. The season's biggest storyline twist was delivered by Frost. We have quiet monitoring, covert meetings, fixation. Enough shadow behind the scenes could obscure the whole Atlanta skyline, as well as industry jealousy. However, the issue is, what will occur next? Will Kirk clap back with his own receipts? Is Mendeecees only stirring things up to get some much-needed attention? Or are we witnessing the onset of a serious conflict that reveals more cast secrets, alliances, and treachery? Really, why was Kirk Frost supposedly Mendeecees is shadowing him, watching everything he does as if he were filming an undercover documentary? What's the truth between the two of these? Additionally, what else has Kirk been surreptitiously observing? Replicating or attempting to influence someone behind closed doors? We require answers. Additionally, when more tea leaks, you can be sure that the internet is going to blow up. Don't sit there then. Tell us immediately by jumping in the comments. Do you think Mendeecees can see? Is Kirk truly enamored? Or is this simply crazy pursuit for love and hip-hop influence? And Kirk, who else do you suppose perhaps they're covertly observing? If drama is your thing, hit the like button. To ensure you never miss anything, subscribe. Another controversy, and make those alerts turned on because this story, well, it's not finished yet. By no means. More lies, more secrets, and undoubtedly more there will be receipts soon. Keep an eye out.